Hey, surviving Colorado. I don't think you said you said Rusty. I think. Maybe not. It's early in the morning. Haven't had my coffee. I drink my coffee out of a Starbucks cup, but it comes out of my coffee pot. I have to respond to this because I had a lot of that experience. A lot. I'm a chick, but I grew up on the street, so I'm really... all that's changed, but I'm very savvy to tensions on the street and what occurs. So I'm walking by my TV a couple days after Katrina. I'm not thinking about it. Just walk by my TV and I see this guy. And I'm like, okay. And that's why I'm giving you the background, because obviously I'm a street girl. Obviously I come from a rough neighborhood. And so I've had to learn to take care of myself out there. But I had brothers, gang brothers. I'm walking by my TV, and I see this dude on TV, old man. So I get in my car, run to Walmart, because I had never done nothing like this, but I knew I was supposed to go. So I run to Walmart, I have some rubber boots, a tent, and I go get Band-Aids. Loco. So I get the Band-Aids. I think I'm doing a good deed, right? I packed 2 suitcases full of my fake crap. I don't know what I was thinking when I walked in there. I'm so stupid. Because I seen what was going on in New Orleans, but I wasn't going there. I was going to miss. So I was like, whatever. So I had never been in my car drive down to the south. My husband's a truck driver and he's from the south and I love it. But I had never been in a car myself and just drove by myself to said location. So I drive to Mississippi. Takes me 2 days straight. I ain't had no sleep. I come up on the entrance to Biloxi because my husband was on the phone and he's like, get in the entrance. And there's nothing but cops. And so I know I have to lie. So I slide in there and they're like, you can't come in here. I said, well, I'm here for, I'm a volunteer. With who? And I said, Red Cross. It just flew out of my mouth. I wasn't with nobody. So I lie, and they're like, let her go. Are you going down to the stadium? I said, because my husband's on the phone, being real quiet. I go to the stadium. They hand me an emergency, and they tell me, don't put your tent up. Here's a tent. Get your ass in there. Shut the fuck up. So I do. That's kind of a little bit of a story. So, because it leads to what you're talking about. So I get in the tent, and I said, no matter what, I don't want to work in the hospital. Where they put me? In this makeshift hospital. I'm pissed. I did not come here to be a nurse. I came here to just be with the people. My intent was, and what I had seen and felt, was just to go be with the people. Well, in this makeshift hospital, there was a podiatrist. I'm like, okay, y'all can do that part. I'm doing something else. So they kicked me out of the stadium. A guy that had narcolepsy was running this whole thing. And I'm looking for this dude that told me I could come, because I looked it up online, get your butt down here. And I'm looking for him. All of a sudden I hear my name. I step out of the tent, and there he is. And he's like, are you Cindy? I said, yes. And he said, I'm John Jones. Let's go. And so I didn't like him either. And he takes me around. It's desolate. And people are on slabs. Some in their house. Some were part of the house was gone. Katrina. And I tell this guy, I'm doing what I want. So I go to the Baptist tent. And I say, I need 30 meals. And they're like, who needs it? And I said, well, I work for the Red Cross. Lying again. At this point, cop cars are just driving around. They're not getting out. They're just driving their cars around. In air conditioning. It's hotter than a motherfucker. And they're driving around with their air conditioning. So that was the scene. And then Red Cross is going around hitting alarms. Beep, we have water. Beep, we have meals. When I looked at those meals, it was literally a glob of orange, a glob of brown, a glob of something else. I was like, this is not food. But we're in Katrina. So I get these really cool meals from the Baptist, and they gave me 30 meals. So they throw me at a location too. Get your butt out of here. Red Cross done pissed me off. This narcoleptic guy pissed me off. This podiatrist has pissed me off. The guy that said to come, he pissed me off. And so now I'm just sitting in an SUV with these 2 bags, a tent, and some rubber boots. They gave me a tetanus shot when I got there. Hit me with a tetanus shot. How did I know? It's late at night. I start combing through the streets, going over rubble. It was weird. And I could feel it. Tense. But part of me was thinking, I didn't come here for no reason. So I'm going down this street in Biloxi, way away from what they said where I could go. Cops aren't doing nothing. They're just patrolling, but they can't get into certain areas. The people are holding it down. So I see this woman late at night, and I'm sleeping in my car. And I see her, and she's going like this. So I pull over. Then an old man comes out. Cool. And I see this woman, and she said, "Who are you?" I said, "My name's Cindy. I'm from Colorado." Well, close. I'm in Denver, I say. And she goes, "I'm going to start calling you Denver." I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, I'm Denver. Who are you?" And she tells me her name. An old man comes up. "Who are you?" I said, "My name is Denver." Because they were talking like, you barely understand Mississippi people. But my husband's from the South, so I know. I get her. She has long red hair. Old woman. I have pictures to this day. And she gets in my car. And I thought at this point I'm going to get jumped. That's what happened in the streets. Cop cars going by. He ain't getting out. He ain't doing nothing. And I could see the streets where they had barricaded themselves in. But I wanted to go down there. Something in my instinct said, go down there. There's something going on. Go help those people. Now, I ain't got no food, no water, nowhere to sleep. I got nothing. I got me. I'm talking to this woman, and I start digging for information. Well, come to find out, there was all these prostitutes brought in by pimps. And I'm like, what? Because I didn't realize a couple days in that a bunch of pimps, not in Biloxi, they literally brought them in, stuck them in locations for $10 a pop. I'm freaked out. And I said, well, I want to get into those streets. She said, we'll talk tomorrow. So I drive over where there's some lighted area near a park that used to be a crack part where these Christian people were. And I, falling asleep in my seat. I am so tired at this point. So I called her Mama. So I go over back to that street. I said, what you doing, Mama? She said, my heart's racing. I said, sweetheart, you need to get your blood pressure checked. And I say, honey, I need to get down those streets. She said, no, you don't want to go there. I said, yes, I do. Because I had heard through the grapevine as I was driving by, if there was a girl that was hurt down there and her leg had pus or something on it. And I was trying to go over there to assess it and maybe I could take her over to the makeshift hospital. And so I go over and into the makeshift hospital. I sneak into the back door because I knew it was in the stadium. And I snuck in there and stole a blood pressure, machine. I knew how to do it. So I come over at night and I'm like, Mama, I got a blood pressure kit. So I take her blood pressure. It's high. So I had this Benadryl. So I said, man, I'll give her a Benadryl that'll calm her down. So she went to sleep in this little trailer that they had. It was like a camper. And Daddy came out and I said, Daddy, how are you? Mama, how are you? And I said, will you check my blood pressure too? Because they're wanting a lot of attention. And they're needy. And they've been thrown into this situation and they're old. So I checked his blood pressure and Mama said, going like this to me that night after the next night. I'm sleeping in my car next to the Christians, won't let me in, blah, 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 blah. Compassion Central, it was called. They wouldn't let me in. So Mama's doing this thing like there's an emergency. I pull over, and there's this huge fight going down. They're fighting over this object that I don't know about. And Daddy's in there, and a couple other choice people that I'd seen in the camp, but they wouldn't talk to me. Near this trailer, they had made like a lean-to, and there is a shitstorm fight going down. I get out, and I said, oh my God, you boys, what are you doing? They're all, knocking each other around. Some of them are falling over. And so I get in the middle, and they're hitting me. They don't know what's going on. It's dark. You can't see. Because in Biloxi, there was no lights other than what was happening in those stadiums and little locations that they wouldn't let people in. They were just letting them come and get the slop, and it was horrible. So there's no lights. There's no sound, which is creepy. And cop cars are going by, but their lights are off. And so the only one going around is Red Cross during the day with these blasting alarms, which I felt was causing more anxiety in the hiding up the fears going down. So this fight's occurring. I know they're older people, but they're pissed about something, and I don't know what it is. So, Mama, what's going on over there? What is going on? So I jump in there. They are fighting over this like little small rice cooker. I said, now damn it, you boys knock your shit off. So I'm pulling this guy's arm. The other one's knocking him around. This guy's screaming and yelling. I'm grabbing him, and they're all like speaking in this Mississippi drawl, so you can hardly hear what they're saying and understand it. So I try to break it up, and I get hit a couple times. Well, finally it calms down. They're fighting over this stupid rice cooker. Who had it? Whatever. And Mama gets in the car after this all simmered down. And I'm stressed the F out because I'm tired. Oh my God, they're going to kill each other. And I said, have you thought about the proposal? She said, I can get you in. Because I've built trust with her. And so I was starting to get into little camps. Like I'd go to, there was a Buddhist camp, this thing where they had a big dome. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Let those people in there. Well, they didn't let nobody in. Compassion Central wouldn't let nobody in. And in the Biloxi Stadium, they were opening for a few hours a day, and the Baptists were in there, and they were feeding them this quality food. But who's going to get to the stadium if they're 4 miles down the road? And then we're walking through water, another hurricane hits, and I'm in the middle of shit. Sleeping in my car, don't even know if my SUV can get over these things, but somehow, some way, I'm talking to these people. So she gets me in. I'm at the barricade. I pull my car over. I get out. And the dudes are looking at me. And I know I can smell crack. And I'm like, I'm going to die. I go in there. And we start walking real slow. And she said, now, don't you do anything crazy now. Okay, you just calm yourself down. I said, I'm fine. They're looking at me like this. And they had one of those big drums, and they had a fire going. But I couldn't see that from the road. And there were all these women. Oh. And like 5 guys. Big guys. I'm like, shit, I'm going to have to take these guys out. I can't do it. I'm already in. I can't turn around. What am I going to do? And Mama's with me. And I come to this little fire pit area. And they're sitting there. And they ain't smiling. And they said, come on over here come here. I don't think he's going to grab my ass and rape me. I said, fuck it, man. Fuck it. So I come on over and he grabs my arm. Actually, it was this arm. With his right hand, he grabbed my left arm. I know the only way out at this point, plus these other guys just looking at me, is to get my arm around and try to lock his head. And so he was looking at my tattoos. He said, "What is that?" So I told him it's a butterfly fairy war. He said, "I like you." And the tension dropped. And here comes all the girls. I said, "Honey, I came in here to find that girl with the leg. I'm trying to help her." Now, I don't have nothing. I have these like little things I picked up here and there. I have those Band-Aids. She comes out limping. I said, "Come on, get your ass out here." And they're in this weirdo house. You know, houses in Mississippi are really weird. And so it's like she was buried in there. She come out, she's limping. I see it, and I'm trying to drain the pus. Big fight goes down. Well, I can't stop these guys. These guys are high, criminal, crazy. They're not looking right. I could smell the crack. They were sitting there smoking off a pipe. I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to die. She comes out. I had this compressed, I had a needle, a bobby pin, in my glove box. So I said, "Can I go back to my car? Guys, I have this little bobby pin like this. One of these things for your hair." And I said, "I need to get the pus out of there so she can make some more money." Because I'm being cool, man. I ain't trying to say, like, don't prostitute yourself, don't. You know, because that's what those other people, they didn't know. That street was all barricaded in. And here comes this big old black boy. And I'm thinking, damn it, more people are coming in. He had the softest eyes. And he walked over and he said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Denver, Colorado." I said, "They call me Denver." Go back. He walks with me to the car. Now I'm going to get raped again. So I go back to the car and he said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm getting me a bobby pin so I can press on that pus so she makes more money." He said, "I like you. Would you be my friend?" Now, Mama's sitting, kicking it with him. This girl's waiting on me. I didn't grab those Band-Aids. I had real big ones. And I go to get the bobby pin, and he's just standing there, like, kind of protecting me. I go back. They're fussing and fighting, arguing, because they had gotten into it. And I didn't jump in. Street justice. And all this time, Red Cross is going around. "We have cold water. We have," intrusive. Tensions were high. People were devastated. They were having PTSD. I could see it. I could smell it. I knew intuitively. I didn't just let him have it out because I was a chick. I had just come from a fight. I could see that fight. I knew it was a crack fight over women. And I knew this girl wasn't going to come out unless he told her to. So I go back with my bobby pin, and this guy's standing guard on me. I drained the pus. I said, "I'll be back tomorrow, sweetheart." And I asked the guys, "Can I come back in?" "Yep. You come on back in, Denver. You're clear to go." And then this guy on a bicycle goes by, checking me out. This black guy standing next to me, bigger than big. I pull my pictures out and show you, and you'd be like, "Oh my God." And I'm in this fire pit camp off the street near this weirdo house in Mississippi, rocked out. And Mama's standing there with me, with this long red hair, older than old. She's kind of like a madam, you know what I mean? Here's this girl. I made some friends. I get in my car and he's like, "Where are you sleeping?" I said, "Over at that stupid place." He said, "Motherfuckers." I said, "That's right. 'Cause they ain't doing nothing for you, baby. So I'll be here tomorrow." And you know what? 5 months later, when I went down that street, when they pulled their barricade off, I still worked with those prostitutes. I had helicopters coming in. Don't ask me how the consulate of frickin' Vietnam found my number. But I got me a diesel truck full of rice. I was there for 5 months. Compassion Central finally let me in so I'd have a place to sleep. If I would come tell them about my experience. 5 months I went in that circle. For 5 months, those men protected me. For 5 months, I walked into fights there's no way I could have stopped. For 5 months, I watched them cry. I watched them fight. I watched them survive. Now, I work with the homeless down in Denver too, but I don't do it their way. No. I do it in my SUV, the way I want to do it, the way I handle it, and a lot of fights break out over a mitten. It breaks out over something they did yesterday. I said, well, when you're done fussing and fighting, you come on over here now. Because I got hot cocoa and I know your hands are cold and I didn't bring no gloves tonight. And you all just fighting over that stupid jacket. I said, I can't stop with this jacket thing. I said, y'all need to figure this out. Next day I go back downtown and work in that drunk area down at this park. The worst part you can go to. Because I'm not afraid now. And they do this all the time. And it freaks you out when you're a woman because it's like, woo, this is going down. Boom, that's going down. But I lived in the street, so I know. It is street justice. You did the right thing, in my opinion. Because they got to work their shit out. They're out there dealing with, and you're right, there's a heightened sense of tension within yourself. And then there's in the group, because you know you got to supply stuff in the cold. I did it. Well, there's no way I could take care of these people in the heat. I mean, there's no freaking way. Subsequently, over time, Barbara Bush came in, and when I left there, I have pictures, and I can tell you stories about each and every picture, because I was embarrassed to go and take pictures where the dead were, because we were never able to get those bodies out. And sometimes I would go look for a pot. My SUV was full of shit, and sometimes it was a rope. Sometimes it was a bowl. Sometimes it was something so stupid. A purple shirt. I was their friend. And I will always be their friend. And I will never forget what happened that night. If I hadn't had tattoos, I'd have never gotten in there. Pretty soon, here comes these Christian folk telling me, we know you're going down that street. Would you come in and share with the minister every night? And we'll give you a place to sleep. No this, no that. And I subsequently stole from each of those locations, created relationships in which I would get what I want, traded, borrowed, steal, but I watched a lot of fights, even to the point where one guy killed his sister. I mean, I'm not kidding you. A girl died on me too because a pimp choked her out and broke her tracheal. She died right there after she... I can't tell you how many fights broke out. When things are tense, when they've been out there late at night and so pissed them off and they're drinking and they're drugging, even people that are users and abusers, there's a thing that occurs out there. Literally, I would get them gloves for the night. And the next day, I go back with hot cocoa because I know it will help their hands stay warm by myself, by my motherfucking self. And I bungee the urns in there. My husband gets so pissed. He don't want me to do it. But I survived Mississippi for 5 months alone. Subsequently, I found me a little flashlight. And subsequently, I found them a lighter. And I would go around. So I was, I'd go around. And I'd hit that flashlight. And they'd hit 1 for good, 2 for not so good. Subsequently got them tent. Subsequently got blankets. I watched so many fights go down. I broke up so many fights. I learned not to do it. because I knew something went down the night before, 2 days before. So-and-so took part of my blanket. So-and-so took something that I've been trying to get. So-and-so did this. So-and-so did that. And I'd say, sweetheart, stop. Don't do that, because then if you hurt each other, I can't fix you. And they'd stop. They were so used to me being the great equalizer, but I loved them. I hated when they fought. I wanted them to get along. I'm not kidding. Sometimes they'd fight 3 times in a row. Like, subsequently, every camp that I would go to that I set up, because I created a whole tent city, and subsequently, sometimes I go through there and they'd already fussing and fighting, beating each other up, and now they were making hooch, so they were starting to get drunk. I mean, here we go. So I have insanity during the day. I'm stealing stuff. I'm bringing it to them. I see these prostitutes. They're in trouble. Some guy calls me from hospice and says, we have a helicopter. We hear that you're looking for AIDS swab tests. I said, get these girls out of here. They're killing every person. You have no idea what I walked into, including the military. And I dealt with those guys every single day and night. All day I would drive around. They'd fight. They usually waited till nighttime because nothing. The cops, they had a barbecue. I could smell the barbecue all the way on the other side of town. I could smell that barbecue because I was so hungry. And thank God I brought food. And thank God I have learned inside that they're working something out. Now, when you're giving them stuff, I understand that too, because if you don't stop the frenzy, then it turns into an all-out zombie war. So, what I do today, especially when the frenzy starts, I'm like, get in my car, lock the door, watch it go down, shut the back of the SUV real quick, jump into my car, and just sit there. Now, when I took other people with me, they were like, I can't do this no more. It breaks my heart. I'm like, what the French toast ever? This is nothing. Jump in my car, I'll sit there for a little bit. I'll come back on. I'm like, Johnny, Billy, what the F are you doing? Now look at his arm hurts. Well, he took my freaking can of green beans. I said, I got another one. Let me go look at my car. Now I'll bring you a freaking can opener tomorrow. I'll try to work that crap out. Unfortunate thing is I don't have camps anymore to go get stuff. So I have to come with it on my own. And sometimes I don't have the money. Sometimes I don't show up. It's different. So there's my story. And I'm a woman, so you're a man, so probably it's different, Like the male in you is like, I could get in there and maybe break this up. But when they start a fussing and fighting, unless it's a frenzy, I've learned to stand back and make sure everybody's kind of just having one of those little fuss and fight and squabble things and do the best I can. But when they start hurting each other, it's different. Now, I was at Katrina, so if they hurt each other, it's a different thing. I had to step in. And I've learned to block, like get my way in there. And I'm used to gang jumps, so I know how to get in there and stop the situation. I'm not a professionally trained woman, but I lived in the streets long enough, and I'm from the hood. So I know when somebody's getting ganged and jumped, how to intervene and control a situation so nobody gets really hurt. But, street justice means people die. So I've been in a lot of stabbings. I've been in a lot of gun shootings. I've stabbed people. So that's my training. That's what I know. Oh God, the light. And that's what's happened to me. And it's kind of a long video, but I think it's important. And I'm surviving Colorado also. This year I won't be able to go out as much because I'm doing some other stuff. And it's scary. And it's hard. And I know that Billy stole something from Susie. Then Johnny Boy defends this other woman because last night, and because she told him a story, and maybe he's had a little bit of liquor, and then he's really lit up. And it just is social justice. It really is. And they work it out. I I work in areas where they're drinking a lot, so I know a lot of that fussing and fighting is due to drinking. When I give them my cell phone, a lot of them want to call home. And especially with the young kids, so I'll let them use my phone. I have to be really careful because they'll take my phone and they've been doing something and they'll give it to somebody else, or that other person gets pissed because they want to call too, especially on the holidays. And so this phone moves around. So I learned to get a really cheap phone and let it move around and keep an eye on it, plus deal out hot cocoa. And I said, listen, you're going to drop that cocoa. But see, I'm really used to it from Katrina. I'm really used to that feeling, that tension. And sometimes I come home or on my way home and I'm crying, especially in the winter. It's hard. It's hard. But the most important thing is for me to be there. Well, what do I do? Sometimes I don't have gloves. Sometimes I've donated an urn or one of my urns break and then I can't go. And if they don't see me, they fuss and fight. And they get really upset because I'm their friend. And they're so used to me. So this year when I go out, I'll have all new people. I have my old timers. I got my kids that we talk. And then I have my new people that are coming in all the time. And a lot of kids, oh my God, they're so cracked out. They're so messed up. They're so methed out. Whatever they're doing. Some are just sad. They work on the streets. I never heard somebody until I watched your video because I felt very alone in this. My husband's really upset that I do it. He doesn't like it. So I said, well, when you come in, why don't you do it with me? So my daughter-in-law is coming for Thanksgiving. I can't even imagine this made-up girl with makeup and everything else coming out there. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Those fights break out. You got to kind of, I've never had to call the cops. I never will because I'm not a cop caller. And you're a big guy. You could probably handle a situation. But I think you did the right thing, and you let them work out their conflicts. And they're out there doing stuff, so you don't know the real story. I've just learned to let them work it out. Now, if it's an old person, a young person, they're kicking them, or, I got to step in. And I'll just go, what are you doing? I use a really authoritative voice. I have a little billy club I keep on my inside jacket. And I keep that for a reason, because if they're really starting to hurt an older person, or, it's unfair, then I have to step in and say, what are you doing? No! And they're not used to hearing that, so that breaks it up. But I think you did the right thing, and I would love to work with you just individually, what I do, and because I don't organize with, I don't do anything for an organization unless I'm able to supply that organization, just because of the injustice of it. But I'm really proud of you, and I'm really happy you posted that. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And if I can do it at Katrina and stay alive, then I'm sure you can too. And subsequently, I have picture after picture, which I should make a movie of it. And those are the people, and that's what happened. And these were people doing crack. I mean, who gets crack in the middle of Katrina, But once I found out everything, I realized what was going on. I don't know, Sometimes it's not right when we do certain things, but I need their trust, and that's more important. And the human being struggles, and I understand you're there as a doing something else, but I walk by myself, and so that's what I have to do. I don't go under the underpass anymore. I did last year, and they almost got me, but this year I'm staying out of there. So, I love you. You're in Colorado. Go Colorado, and keep doing what you're doing, and I believe in what you did. Hey, brother. Brother from another mother. I'm going to go get some more coffee and try to wake up. I got a big day. Thanks.